a personality shaped by being an athlete and a background in mainstream sports media, I found that the stories I was most interested in telling were the ones often overlooked, the ones that might not otherwise be told, the ones that show the intangible and not just the highlight reel. The Sports Council is about highlighting the great, the good, the unique, and everything in between in the Pacific Northwest sports world. I'm Jamie Council. Thanks for joining me.
You're listening to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, the Tri-Cities leader in sports.
Welcome to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports. Well, this week we have a great story about a Tri-Cities resident that is bike riding across the state of Washington. We're joined by Jim Cochran, who will be crossing the state of Washington on a bike in the coming week.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Tell me a little bit about this feat that you're going to be taking on, and it's good to have you, and it's fun to see all the different things going on with residents in the Tri-Cities.
Going to be launching something that haven't done in the past. I love cycling. I've been doing it all my life, and last few decades have gotten really involved in bicycle touring. But this is a race, and it's a mountain bike race. And so, this coming Sunday, May 18th, we'll be heading out from the Pacific Coast, La Push Beach, and mountain biking 730 miles all the way across the Olympia Mountains, the Cascades, and all the way across to the Idaho border. So looking forward to it. It's going to be an incredible challenge.
And what made you decide to take on this challenge? You've been bike riding for quite a bit, but bike riding 730 miles in a week, give or take, is a completely different feat.
Yes, it is. Well, I'm the superintendent at Liberty Christian School, and so I'm combining my love for the kids and our program here with my love for cycling, and so actually doing this as a fundraiser for the school, but really excited to be able to finish raising some funds that we need for our capital campaign. So that's part of what we're doing. We've got an art wing we've been slowly working on over the last 3 or 4 years, and we're really close to finishing, and we want to finish this summer. So that's part of the cause. But another really cool piece to it is I've got an 11th grader, a junior here, Cam, who will also be joining me about halfway through, but he's caught an interest in bikepacking and cycling, and so I'm really looking forward to spending some time with him. Got another grandpa, Jeff, from the school here. He's got a grandkiddo in the school, and so Jeff and I will be going all the way, and then Cam will be meeting us about halfway through. And looking forward to it. That's kind of the why behind it. But I love sharing with kids. I've been cycling with students for a couple decades now. Take them out and do rides, and I just enjoy showing this hobby and this experience to them.
And it's a lot better than sitting on a roof to raise funds.
That's right. Yeah. This actually started last year as kind of a whim, fun thing to do at our annual auction last year. Said, if anybody's got any money left in their pockets and they want to write a donation on a paddle that they've been using for the auction, they dropped that at the end of the night. And last year I had committed that for every $200 raised, I'd spend an hour on the roof. And I ended up on top here for 42 straight hours last year. So that was the fun of it. And then this year with the auction and again with our capital campaign, decided to ramp it up. And so our goal is kind of audacious, but what we want to do is try to raise $100 a mile for the 730 miles. So we've got about 150 miles pledged, and we're going to try to get it all the way over that 700 mark.
Yeah, so people that think your name sounds familiar, it's because Jim Cochran did spend 42 hours on the Liberty Christian roof to raise funds. Wanted to talk more about the journey, but for those listening that might want to be able to participate, to be able to help raise funds, how can people contribute to the cause?
Well, so we've set up a website called stradacorsa.org. So it's STRADACORSA, Strada Corsa. That's my moniker for cycling. I'm known as Strada Corsa Jim. And again, kind of Italian for road course or a road ride. And so that's kind of where it comes from. But anyway, that is set up. That's where I'll be blogging, sharing some of the journey. But it also has some donate buttons there as well. And that'll go right to finishing up our cause for our art wing that we've got here at the school.
And in today's day and age, there's so many things that aren't active for kids to do. And you've, throughout the course of your career, have, I guess, kind of taken that and given an outlet to students, showing them more of an active lifestyle. Why is that so important for you? From
a personal standpoint first, I often think back to that old 80s movie. It was something that came out when I was growing up. And that was the movie Chariots of Fire. And Eric Liddell, the Olympic athlete in there, he would share, and at one point he says in the movie that he's asked, "Why do you do this?" And he says, "Well, when I run, I feel God's pleasure." And so for me, cycling is a way to get out into creation, into just the wilderness, and enjoy that creation. And I love then sharing that with our kids. We live, especially these days, we've developed into a complete screen society. And it is so important in how we're wired and designed that we are active and we get out. And so it's just a really cool experience to be able to go out and do that. And so my passion with kids has been to encourage them, don't be the couch potato, don't be just the screen slave, but really relationships are important, and getting out and getting active. And so that's something I've done for years, have helped. Before I moved up here to Washington, was at a school down in Southern California. And we actually would take Southern California, you could ride 12 months out of the year. And up here, it's a little more challenging because there's something called winter. But down there, we would take 4th to 8th graders, and we did an after-school bike club, would take them on rides. And cool thing is every spring, we'd ride from Southern California across the Mojave Desert to Phoenix, Arizona, and participate in the Cactus League games over there. And that was kind of a really cool reward for them. But we had 4th to 8th graders riding 50 miles a day, and they'd cover 300 miles in a week. And they're able to do it. And you train them properly, keep them safe, teach them how to do it. And so that's just something that I'm passionate about. I'm really thankful Cam's caught an interest here. It's going to be really cool to see him experience some really rugged terrain. Eastern Washington and the Cascade Palouse Trail actually has a nationwide reputation as being one of the hardest rail trails in the U.S. So it is going to be a challenge, that whole portion, the last half of the race.
And the race is 730 miles across the state of Washington. We're catching up with Jim Cochran that will be setting off this Sunday on the race across Washington. And we're going to get more into the race, what it takes to take on a feat like this. But first, we're going to hear from our sponsors. You're listening to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports.
Krispy Kreme is bringing back sweet nostalgia with the Pac-Man Retro Collection. Your favorite yellow Ghostbuster has taken over our donuts now through June 1st. Hurry in before it's game over. And don't miss our Strawberry Glazed Original, only May 24th through the 26th, one weekend only. Still fundraising? We're taking orders now. Plus, ask in-store how to download the Krispy Kreme app and stay updated with the latest treats. That's your local Krispy Kreme, 2805 Dupertail in Richland. Come in with a sweet tooth, leave with a smile.
Inconveniences can happen at, well, inconvenient times. JRT Mechanical has plumbers and HVAC technicians available 24/7 if an emergency does arise. Or if you feel like your house isn't cooling like it used to, or if you're tired of a hose leaking from last winter's freeze, JRT is an honest, reliable company that's been in the Pacific Northwest for more than 3 decades. Give JRT Mechanical a call at 509-314-4314 or visit jrtmechanical.com.
If you've got a winery, brewery, or dairy, why buy industrial parts and supplies from across the country? Central Industrial Sales is your local source for supplies and equipment for the dairy, food processing, winery, and brewing industries. We specialize in custom fabrication, industrial cleaning equipment, sanitary fittings, valves, pumps, chemicals, and many other supplies. Everything's available through our website, by phone, or by dropping by our office. Call 509-375-4032 or find us at centralindustrialsales.com.
You're listening to Jamie Council on the Sports Council.
We're back on the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports, catching up with Jim Cochran, a Tri-Cities resident, going to be biking across Washington, 730 miles, and it's to raise funds for Liberty Christian High School, but such a great story, such a great feat to accomplish, and got into a little bit of the why in segment 1 and how you use your bike riding to instill good habits into the students that you come in contact with. The student will be joining you for the second half. So we talked a little bit about it in segment 1, but tell me about where you start, where you end, and some of the high points, literal high points in this race.
All righty. Okay. So and a shout out, if I can, real quick, to Troy Hopwood. He's the one that designed this course. He kind of directs the race. It's an underground race, and so there's going to be, it looks like 130 to 150 people all assembling next Sunday morning, May 18th at La Push Beach. So we'll be on the Olympic Peninsula, and then we head out from there. We'll dip our wheels in the water and head out. And this course is designed with single track trails that we'll be riding on. There'll be some gravel roads, and really the pavement is simply to link those up. And so it really truly is a mountain bike race. And we will leave from La Push, and there will be some pretty high and pretty rugged passes that go through the Olympic Mountains. And so we'll be heading up, heading down, 2 or 3 major passes in the mountains there. And I'm hoping that after about 3 days, maybe 3.5, we'll hit the Puget Sound area, Hood Canal area, and we'll be taking a ferry across. There's our rest spot. We got 6 miles on the Kingston Edmonds Ferry, and we'll get across into the Edmonds Bothell area, and then it's navigating a lot of urban bike trails, city parks, regional parks, and even a couple hike-a-bikes up over the clear cuts where the high voltage lines are, to work our way up towards North Bend area. And then we'll hit the rail trail up there, the Cascades Palouse Trail, and take that through the Snoqualmie Tunnel. And so it's up over that pass, heading down towards Cle Elum and Ellensburg, Kittitas, and then from Kittitas, actually, we blast back up north into the mountains there and go over some pretty high ridges. That's where the high point will be, over 5,000 feet up there. And, when you're up there doing these mountain passes, there's deadfalls from trees. It's early spring, so things haven't been cleared. We'll probably encounter a little bit of snow. And then as we head down into the lowlands, and as we're going through the mountains, there's also spring melt off. So there will be some river crossings, and so it's quite adventuresome. We'll hit Wenatchee, and then the steepest section of the whole route is actually climbing up from the Rock Island Dam. There's a 19% grade that goes up out of the Columbia River Gorge there. And then it's over to Ephrata, more familiar to us on the east side, and Moses Lake down to Othello, up to Warden, across to Lind, Ritzville, then over to Rosalia, Tico, and then we'll finish at the Idaho border with about it's a 16 or 18 mile loop around, and the official finish line's in Tico. So quite a journey, and it's a race that you have to be self-contained. And so I've got all my gear that I'm going to need for the whole trip, the 10 days or so, is on the bike. And we're allowed to use any publicly accessible services like grocery stores, gas stations, convenience stores, those kind of things as we go. A public bike shop, but we can't get any personal assistance, and we've got to be completely self-contained and self-sufficient. So really, it's just resupplying food and water along the way, and it's just going to be moving as much as possible.
Kind of got into a little bit of my next question of what it takes, because you can't just get on your bike and stay on there for the entire 730 miles. There's going to be breaks. You need food. So you're allowed to go to grocery stores and kind of repack that, but are you going to be cooking things? So how does the food portion look? Just as a person that likes to eat, that's where my mind goes. That's where my stomach goes.
Absolutely. So for this, and again, I've done a lot of bike packing and bicycle touring, and have always carried a stove. Usually bring a butane stove. If I'm going to really high altitude, I'll bring a liquid fuel stove. But I've got titanium pots and all that. I am leaving all that at home for this race. And so I'm going to be eating. I've done a lot of research on ultra endurance food for endurance athletes, military, and that kind of thing. So what I've got is a bunch of high density meals. Some
like
of them
houses?
No, actually, the mountain house, right? You have to boil and add water to it. For the freeze,
but the jet boil.
Yeah. So for these, it's more of their high density pre-cooked. I've got some like rolled oat with tapioca syrup, high density fruits in those, and nuts and that kind of a thing. So what people could consider a Rice Krispie bar about this big, I can get about 700 calories into it. And so that is something that I'll be utilizing. And then there's also some liquid meals as well. So I've got some chocolate flavored liquid meals, and they run about, so they weigh about 5 ounces each, and they contain also about 700 calories. And so I just add water and go with those. And then, electrolyte tablets, very important to stay hydrated. And so, goo, energy bars, that kind of a thing, and some fruit and nuts. That's really what my diet's going to be as I move across, because I am expecting to pedal. With this being mountain biking, I'll probably be pedaling 10 to 14 hours a day, and trying to get about 75 miles a day done. That's my goal.
So let's get into the supply side, the food side first. And then you just mentioned with water, you're going to have to carry a little bit more weight. I imagine that you'll be carrying a water purifier. And what about like a tent? So what other supplies are you going to all pack on this bike with you as you travel 730 miles?
Yeah. So I am going to take, I've got a lightweight down quilt. So it's like a sleeping bag without a zipper. It's kind of like a blanket. And I've got an air pad, so an air mattress. So that's my sleep kit. I am bringing an ultralight tent. So they call it a 2-person. It's really a 1 1/4 person size tent. But the whole tent weighs about 2 pounds, 3 ounces. So it's really ultralight. So I will bring that along. If the weather's beautiful, I'll lay out, camp out, and forget the tent. But if there's bugs or weather, then the tent is there for me to set up. So I've got that. I've got a sleep kit. Like I said, I'm not bringing any of the stove or any of that. And then clothing-wise, I've got, I'll have 2 pairs of bicycle shorts. They have a padded chamois in them that I'll rotate and wear one each day, and then rinse the other one out as we go. And then I basically have what I'm going to be wearing And again, in the Olympics, we might have hard rain. We could get sleet or snow up there. So we have to be prepared. So I do have a layering system. I use a lot of wool, and I make sure the down that I have, I've got good rain gear to protect that as well, because down becomes useless if it gets wet. So basically I have 2 changes of clothes, and I've got my, sleeping kit, and then you've got to have a lot of repair essentials. And so like I've got a couple spare spokes, a couple nuts and bolts, the different things that could likely go, extra disc brake pads for the brakes, because if the weather conditions get really gnarly, you can be running through brake pads on some of these huge descents really quick. And so got to be ready to repair and replace all of that. Run tubeless tires, and so have to have the sealant for those, and ways, when we get out to the east side, it's potential too that some of that lava rock could cut tires. And so literally I have some heavy duty thread and a leather needle, and you literally sew up bigger cuts and put a little super glue on it, use sealant on the inside, and you seal the thing up and keep moving. But we'll be going through tons of goat heads. I'm sure that by the time this race is over, there'll be little minor puncture points. There'll probably be 200 of them in each tire, but that's where the sealant on the inside just seals those, and you can keep moving. So that's just a highlight of some of the gear that we have. But yeah, anything to repair the bike, you've got to be ready for, and then be ready for conditions that are going to go from potentially upper 30s to the triple digits. We could have 100-degree weather. So lots of sunscreen, bug spray, that kind of stuff as well.
Prepare for everything. And you said you want to cover around 75 miles per day. It's 730 miles. So are you aiming to do about 10 days, or how long do you think this trip will take you ideally?
Yes, ideally, that's what we're looking at, is about a 10-day trip. If things went amazingly, I think, towards the end of 8 days or into a 9th day would be amazing. And then I've got a realistic plan B, and actually a plan C that might go into 12 or 13 days as well. So ready for whatever we're going to have to handle here.
I look forward to keeping up, and people can track Jim Cochran on his trip across the state of Washington. We'll have links to track you live, because you will be wearing a tracker. Yes. As well as a link to his blog page where you can also donate to the cause for Liberty Christian High School. We'll have that in our show notes on 1340ESPNradio.com, as well as the Sports Council PNW.com when we post this show. And we're going to also have some updates on social media. Jim will be taking pictures, sharing videos. So some of the things that we've heard about you can see, and you can find that on the Sports Council PNW on Facebook or Instagram, or on Liberty Christian page, and that is LCS_Patriots on Instagram, or Liberty Christian High School on Facebook. Jim, final thoughts leaving this Sunday, and what a trip it will be.
Yes, well, yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be an amazing experience. It's one of those things we're going to suffer a lot. But I think that, again, to be able to provide an example, seriously, to our young people, there are challenges in life. And, this is kind of by choice, but to go through something like this, you have to dig really deep. And that's just something that to have an opportunity, number one, to do it with a student, I think is going to be really cool. But number two, to be able to come back from that and talk to our students about the experiences. And when you get challenges in life, there's a lot you can dig into. And that's what I find with these trips. Again, this is probably going to be, I'm pretty sure this is the hardest thing I will have ever done in my life physically, and I think mentally as well. And I'm looking forward to that challenge. And it's just something I want to be able to share with our students so they can learn how to overcome as well in the challenges life gives them.
If you can do it, they can do it.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Look forward to seeing all the pictures, the videos, and tracking you across Washington.
All right. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Jamie.
So again, that's Jim Cochran going to be biking across Washington. And when we come back, we're going to hear from Visit Tri-Cities, things going on in the Tri-Cities in the coming weeks. You're listening to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports.
Inconveniences can happen at, well, inconvenient times. JRT Mechanical has plumbers and HVAC technicians available 24/7 if an emergency does arise. Or if you feel like your house isn't cooling like it used to, or if you're tired of a hose leaking from last winter's freeze, JRT is an honest, reliable company that's been in the Pacific Northwest for more than 3 decades. Give JRT Mechanical a call at 509-314-4314 or visit jrtmechanical.com.
If you've got a winery, brewery, or dairy, why buy industrial parts and supplies from across the country? Central Industrial Sales is your local source for supplies and equipment for the dairy, food processing, winery, and brewing industries. We specialize in custom fabrication, industrial cleaning equipment, sanitary fittings, valves, pumps, chemicals, and many other supplies. Everything's available through our website, by phone, or by dropping by our office. Call 509-375-4032 or find us at centralindustrialsales.com.
Is bringing back sweet nostalgia with the Pac-Man Retro Collection. Your favorite yellow Ghostbuster has taken over our donuts now through June 1st. Hurry in before it's game over. And don't miss our strawberry glazed original, only May 24th through the 26th, one weekend only. Still fundraising? We're taking orders now. Plus, ask in-store how to download the Krispy Kreme app and stay updated with the latest treats. That's your local Krispy Kreme, 2805 Dupertail in Richland. Come in with a sweet tooth, leave with a smile.
You're listening to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, the Tri-Cities leader in sports.
Welcome back to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports. We're joined now by Hector Cruz, a vice president of Visit Tri-Cities and oversees the Tri-Cities Sports Council, different than the Sports Council show, but a friend of the show. It's good to have you, Hector.
Thank you so much for having me here, Jamie. Looking forward to this interview.
Always good to chat sports with you. And I know we've had you on before, but can you quickly give me an overview of what the Tri-City Sports Council is?
Yes, so the Tri-City Sports Council started in 1996. It's been around for many years here in the Tri-Cities, but it was founded as a way for Visit Tri-Cities to really help bring tournaments and to secure tournaments that can really create an economic impact through tourism. So right now, currently, we have about 40 members on the Sports Council, and it ranges everywhere from, they're all volunteers, but they're just people that are sports-minded folks that are in the community that are involved in sports. So we have everything from our athletic directors from the high schools, the colleges, CBC. We have the athletic director there, the professional sports teams. So the Dust Devils, the Americans, they're all invited at the table, and then of course officials. That's a big part of what we do. The officiating. We have our parks and recreation departments from each of the cities. Our jurisdictions are represented there. All the venues. And then finally, the sports groups, all the clubs, they're all invited to it. So really, you get a good, nice variety of folks that are looking to make a difference via sports.
Including the media, and Visit Tri-Cities really helps facilitate everything. And I was looking at my calendar. You guys are really busy about now.
We have some amateur baseball coming in. Northwest Nations will be in town. And then you get the state championships. That's our big one. You know, those events, the state championships for WIAA, those events don't just take place here by chance. You know, we have to work with a lot of partners to put bids on to host that event, and they get awarded every year. Sometimes we have we have some 2-3 year agreements, but for the most part, we're working on a yearly basis to bring those events back to the Tri-Cities and keep them here. So this year, we're very fortunate to have the 1A state softball championships and the 4A state championships over at Columbia Playfield in Richland. They have beautiful grounds. I know the city of Richmond does an awesome job there of just maintaining those fields and they're getting them all prepped up, ready for the state championships. And then we also are hosting the 4A state tennis championships as well. That's another big one that will be at Kamiakin High School and the Pacific Clinic. And so it's those venues that really allow us to bring these state championships here to the Tri-Cities.
So big time in high school sports as the year wraps up there. WIAA helping facilitate it with Visit Tri-Cities. And now let's hop into some of the other events that you have upcoming. The big one through the Waterfallies, the H1 preseason testing. What does the Tri-Cities need to know?
Yeah, so for the Tri-Cities Waterfallies, new this year, it's going to be great because it makes the testing of the boats. It allows for the crews to really test the boats out before they get on the H1 circuit, and it's going to be big for the Tri-Cities because new this year. We will be hosting it on a Saturday. Typically, that event's on a Friday, but with it being on a Saturday now, they're expecting more people to be out at the park. It'll be held at Columbia Park, but of course, you could see the action on both sides of the river. You could be on the Kennewick side or the Pasco side to really catch the boats. The action of the boats being on the water, but there'll be activities on the water, but then also on the shore as well, right? On the land, we're going to have some fun activities. They'll be having a band out there, and it'll be more of I guess you could say a festival-like event. So it's gonna be really neat to have more activities taking place and having that full day. On a Saturday, we are expecting more people to be out there and make it more of a overall event. So, great way to kick off, the series. As Waterfallies, of course, this year they're celebrating their 60th anniversary of having the boats here in our community.
Waterfallies end of July on May 17th, preseason testing, and then staying with the power sports the following weekend, you have night racing at Tri-City Raceway.
Yeah, Tri-City Raceway's done some awesome job too, and just bringing up some new events. They had the ARCA series come through here this last year, and they'll be bringing it back here again in August. And so, having the raceway here, a few years ago, if you recall, there was nothing going on out there, right? And so we had a good group of volunteers to help bring back racing onto the oval, right? The tri-oval that's in Tri-Cities that has a lot of history too. So it's just great to see that doing really well. They got a lot of great support too from sponsors, but that allows us to really showcase some really good signature events for us. For Visit Tri-Cities, we understand that these kinds of events are really economic drivers, right, for the community. Because you have people
like
coming in from. Yeah. Yes. Oh, I didn't even see that. That was good. I love it. That was a good pun. All right. And so that's what it does, right? It fuels our economy. Another one there, it's fueling not only the cars, but it's fueling the economy, right? And this is something that it really benefits our community because local businesses, these small businesses, are seeing the effect from these events. People come in from out of town, they stay at the hotels, eating at the restaurants, spending their new dollars into the community. So it's exciting for tourism to have these great events take place here.
Hector, where can people follow, find, watch for the events from Visit Tri-Cities?
Yeah, so if you go our website, visit tricities.com, and that's visit tri-cities. So there'll be a hyphen between tri and cities.com. So visit tricities.com. There's we got a calendar of events there. We got all of our major events, our signature events are listed on there. And what to see and do too. While you're in the Tri-Cities, you might want to know what can I do on the downtime? If my kid's playing soccer, what's the nearest place or an eatery I can stop by, or a movie theater to go check out. We have all those events listed on our calendar. It's one of the most complete ones we have in the Tri-Cities. So I highly recommend you to go check that out. And then we have some blogs on there, just some that have itineraries of some interesting things that perhaps you might not know that are attractions that are here in the Tri-Cities. If you're a local resident, I know sometimes my kids might say, I'm bored, there's nothing to do here in the Tri-Cities. And I send them to the Visit Tri-Cities website to go check it out, because you can get you could get inspired to check out some pretty cool attractions that perhaps you might not know that are here in our backyard.
Be a tourist in your own backyard.
Yes, for sure. And we actually have a SkyNav. It's a 360 tour that's provided on our website as well. So I'd highly recommend to check that one out from our homepage.
Well, that's all the time we have. Hector, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Jamie. It's good chatting with you.
Great chatting with you. And before the show ends, I do want to point out a couple other places. We talked about the Tri-City Raceway. If you want more information on their upcoming event on Memorial Day weekend, they are tricityraceway.com, all one word. That's tricityraceway.com, as well as we talked about H1 testing coming to the Tri-Cities this weekend on May 17th. And that's waterfollies.com, all the information about the waterfallies and preseason testing. You're listening to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports. Well, that'll wrap up this week's show of the Sports Council. Thank you for joining me on 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports. A reminder, the Sports Council happens 4 times a month, 11:30 a.m. on Thursdays. You can listen to the show not just over the airwaves at 11:30 on Thursdays, but also on demand at 1340ESPNradio.com via podcast. Wherever you get your podcasts, just search for the Sports Council, and it's also available via YouTube. So lots of ways to listen to the Sports Council and support our local sports community. Until next time, I'm Jamie Council. Now we go back to your originally scheduled Seattle sports programming.